So you want to start out your own business? That's great, but it ain't easy. It's not easy. My name is Paul with Callaway Pools. I've been a business owner for about 6 years now, and things have been pretty good. But things have definitely changed, and I have to tell you about those changes. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed. First and foremost, my recommendation has changed a little bit. It's still the same, but it's changed with the fact that you need more details. Before, my main thing was create a Google page and create a website, create a Facebook page, just get your online presence out there. That was my thing before. And just by doing that, you were going to get customers. Just by doing that, people would start calling you. But now things don't work the same anymore. Before, it was easier because back then, when I started, I was one of the very few companies that was actually found online. All of my other competition, they didn't have a website, they didn't have a Google My Business page, they didn't have a Facebook page. You couldn't find them online. But when you looked up a pool service company and I had a page, of course I would pop up. Of course people would call me. So things aren't the same anymore. Now everybody has a Google page, everybody has a Yelp page, everybody has a Facebook page. All these companies have pages, and all of a sudden now, instead of being 1 in 3 companies that pop up, now I'm 1 in 20 or 30 companies that pop up. And the ones that are going to pop up are the ones that have the most reviews, who have been around for the longest, who have activity happening on their pages, they're uploading consistently. That's who's going to pop up. But if you're not doing all that stuff, you're not going to pop up. If you're a new company that just started, for example, if you want to start your own company, you could make all these pages, but months later, you're still not going to have a call coming in. Why? Because you don't have reviews, you don't have activity, you don't have none of this stuff that all these other companies who have been around for a long time have on their page. So it's not as easy anymore as before, when I used to just tell you, just create a page, because now everyone has a page. Now, a way you can verify this is go in your local area, wherever you're at, and just search for pool service near me. If you see very few companies popping up, you have a good chance to succeed because you don't have the online competition. But if you see 10, 15, 20 companies on Google, you have a lot of competition and you've got some work to do, and you're gonna have to do more than just create those pages. Now you're actually gonna have to go seek for the customers and knock on the doors and put the door hangers and post online and try to get viral some other way to where people can recognize you. But just creating an online page like before and being successful and getting customers, it's not gonna happen. It's not like before anymore. Things have changed big time. Second thing, advertising. Advertising was also the thing that changed my business big time. When I first started advertising and I figured it out, because I didn't even know what it was, I took about a year before even really getting customers. It was very slow at the beginning for me, but when I figured out advertising, when I figured out Google, I was getting like 1, 2, 3 calls every single week. Every single week I was getting phone calls, giving estimates. It was so exciting. It was an exciting moment just going out there as a new company and just getting these calls and looking at different pools and meeting different customers and saying, hey, we can help you. Here's the price. And they say yes. And you add more and more and more to your route. It was amazing. It was exciting. Nowadays, advertising, 1, has gotten very, very expensive, and 2, doesn't work as well. So now, the results that I got back in the days, I'm just gonna do a comparison. Back in the days, I used to pay like $300 a month, $400 a month, and I would get all these calls that I already mentioned, 2 to 3 calls a week, 2 to 3 estimates a week. Nowadays, to get the same type or same quantity of calls, now you gotta pay 2 to 3,000. So things have 10x'd. The cost has 10x. And here's the thing, because everyone is doing this as well, or maybe it's just not working as well. Now, these calls, even if you're paying 2 to 3,000, you're paying 10x. But now the amount of calls that you get have lessened or become less by 3 as well. So now even when you're paying 2 to 3K a month, now instead of getting 2 to 3 calls a week, now you're getting maybe 1 call a week. Maybe you're getting 2 calls a week. Now you got to use other stuff like Google local service ads to try to get out there. But even then, because there's so much competition, the amount of calls that you get or that you can expect to get are very, very low, unless you're putting out a lot of money out there. And for a company that's putting a lot of money out there in advertising, you are going to be in a cash crunch. You're not going to have as much money in the bank because you're paying so much just to get new customers. Now, obviously, the tables can turn whenever you stop advertising years later, once you have hundreds of customers. But in the beginning, it's not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense for the new guy that's just starting out to get these customers at that price, at that $2 to $3 grand per month. It just doesn't make sense because you don't have the income to be able to feed that. You have to feed yourself. You can't feed advertisers because you got to feed yourself. So it becomes this cycle of, I can't advertise, so I can't get new customers. And because I can't get new customers, I can't build the business. And because I can't build the business, that business sucks and I'm not doing it. And people quit. But the truth is, you got to put yourself out there different ways. If advertising's not working, once again, you got to go out there and put door hangers. You got to go out there and knock on doors. You got to go out there and create these videos online and on TikTok and get attention to your company by letting people know that you're one of the best companies, that you're knowledgeable, that you can do the work, that you can do this and that. And people see that and they call you because of that. But things don't work as easy as before, and they're not as cheap as before. So with that being said, I think these are the two main things that I want to talk about, because the way things work are very different today. Now you can't just create a page and go off of that. Now you can't advertise and get a bunch of customers off of that, at least not without the huge cost. So guys, I hope you understand what the market is looking like at this point. If I was starting out brand new again, I would still create all the Google pages, on the online pages. I would try to get reviews. But the thing is that to start over again, I would have to go out there and be putting door hangers. I would have to go out there and start putting out a bunch of content on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and having people find me through those avenues as well. With AI now taking over, people aren't really using Google as much as before. They're still using it, don't get me wrong, but not as much as before, because now people are finding me, even me, my company, through AI. I ask people, hey, how did you find us? Because you should always ask people how they're finding you, so you know what's working and what's not. And I've had people tell me, oh yeah, I found you on using AI, or I found you on ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. You are recommended. And I was like, what the heck? Things are changing. People aren't really using Google as much now. Google is still the king when it comes to search engines and people looking for places, but slowly things will be changing and we'll have to adapt. And this is just what I can share with you at the moment as a channel who has dedicated themselves to putting information out there to help new pool service companies get started. I have to put this out and let you know that things have changed. Things are not as easy as back in the days, and you got to get to work. You got to put a lot more effort to get customers. So that being said, guys, we'll see you next time. My name is Paul Rodriguez with Callaway Pools. I'm out.